Hi everyone, I'm John Mahoney, and today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons versus using live wedges on your stage or going with in-ear monitoring. And so for years and years we've all had wedges lining the front of our stage, just pushing the volume back at us, and it's worked for years and years. But what has happened over the last 10 years or so is the ability to go to in-ear monitoring has become cheaper and cheaper, so that many places that could never really afford it before, now there's options out there that they can afford. So let's talk a little bit about the positives of having live monitors. When you have live monitors, there's a lot of feeling involved for the musician or the singer. They can really feel the music. Not necessarily hear really well, but they really feel a lot more. The major negative of live monitors is all of that sound bouncing back up off the back wall has a drastically negative effect on your house sound. So if you think, and if you're striving for this super clean, super clarity sound in the house, if you have loud monitors, you're not going to get it. There's nothing that you can do with EQ that's going to fix it. You can roll off more bottom end off your monitors. You can roll off different frequencies to try to help it, but it's just not going to happen if you have really, really, really loud stage volume. So as a sound person, you have to work in conjunction with the worship team to try to find out how to best approach this subject. If you want to go into the in-ear monitoring world, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I'll tell you the way that I recommend that you do it, and then you can take it from there. There are many different personal monitoring systems, from the budget Behringer PM16 monitors to some new stuff out there that is just crazy expensive. So here's my opinion on the monitoring systems. The Behringer personal monitors, they sound fine. They work and they sound fine. They're not the best thing out there, but they're fairly inexpensive and they work just fine. Aviom has kind of been the industry leader in this. This is what I use in the sanctuary at First Church, and they've got some new Aviom 360s that they sound amazing. It's a little bit more than the Behringer PM16, but there's it's a step up in quality. Up from that, there's something called My Mix. That's what I use in the event center here at First Church. Sound-wise, it sounds a lot better than the Aviom in my opinion. Sound quality is amazing. Now, the downside to the My Mix is it's not very fast. On the Aviom, you push what you want and you have a knob that you turn. On the My Mix, you have to scroll to what you want, push the knob, and then make your adjustment. So there's actually an extra step. So while the My Mix sounds better, it's actually slower, and so it kind of gets some negative reviews because it is slower to use. So one of those three. There's other stuff. Roland makes a phenomenal setup, but it's pretty pricey, and so you can do all of that. So what I would say is do this personal monitoring for your band. Okay, let's start off there. Do the personal monitoring for your band. At each band location, get them a little stand with a little mixer, and in your console, you can send 16 channels to their mixer. This is going to help you on quite a few things. Number one, if you use support tracks or loops, it's going to really help the band to be able to dial those in so they can really hear the click really good, because you obviously don't want click coming through your live monitors. And so they can really stay in tempo with what's going on. Also, whoever your band leader is can have a microphone that is just tied into one of the channels of the personal monitor, and that's called a Talkback microphone. So if in the middle of the song if they all of a sudden out of nowhere they're going to change keys and go to a different song, he can into that mic tell the band, hey, we're now leaving this song, we're going to this song, and we're going to go to A flat, and then we're going to do a chord change. And he can talk to the band without everybody else hearing him. That works very well for a band. Now, your vocalist, in a perfect world, every vocalist would have their own wireless ear pack with their own personal monitor. That's not the case with most churches. You just can't. It's very, very financially heavy to pull that off. But first of all, with the band, they can just go straight out of the back of the personal monitor mixes with the personal monitor mixers with a set of headphones or earbuds or whatever, and they're good to go. Well, with the vocalist, everybody that's in ears, you have to go wireless packs. This is where cost tends to shoot up. There's a lot of different wireless packs out there. The ones that I use here at First Church are the Shure PSM 300. It's a relatively new product. It is considered an entry-level wireless pack product, but it works. Took me a little while to get a few kinks worked out with some frequencies and things like that, but they work, and they are as budget-friendly as wireless packs, wireless in-ear monitoring systems can be. They're still not inexpensive, but they're about as easy on the budget as it can possibly get. So what I do is I actually control our 4 worship leaders' wireless pack mix from the console. So they don't have a personal mixer. I am their personal mixer. This has good points and bad points. The bad points are the fact that it's all me. So if they need something in their monitor mix, we have a system that we use here. It's super simple. During rehearsal, they text me what they want. And I know that sounds very juvenile, but it works. They just text me what they want. Hey, more this, more that, less that. And I'm constantly making changes while I'm tweaking the house mix. And so that can get a bad point. That, it can be a little bit overwhelming. The good point in doing like that is you can kind of see what the monitor mix is like. You can make sure that they're not peaking and they're not clipping. With the personal mixers, everything is just in the hands of the band, and you never know what they're hearing. You don't ever know if they're clipping or distorting. So every once in a while you have to go up there and actually listen to one of their mixes and just make sure everything's okay. So here, the 4 worship leaders have their own wireless pack with their own mix. Then I also have wedges on stage, and that's really for we have 6 BGVs or 6 praise team people or background vocals, whatever you want to call them. They actually use wedges on the side of our platform, and those I just try to mix as best as possible. It's done per side. I've got it's basically just 2 separate mixes. Everybody kind of has to share. I think one of our goals is to eventually for everybody to be on in-ears, but just until we are able to do that from a cost standpoint, the background vocalists are on live monitors, the worship leaders are on ears, and the band is on Aviom system. So do I think it's a good idea? Absolutely. Just when you get into it, you have to take it in chunks, because even if you have all of the budget to make it happen, still just take it a little bit at a time, because it can be overwhelming. Do your band first. Get personal mixers for all of your band and set them up correctly. If you don't know how, get somebody in that can set them up correctly, and just let that fly for a few months. Just kind of let everybody get used to that. And then if you want to start adding maybe your primary worship leader into an ear mix, and just slowly add. That's what I did, and I'm very glad that did it like that, just diving in, going from all just stage volume, going to all monitor mixes all at one time. I don't think that would be a very smart thing, even if you are financially able. When you do this, there's something that few churches do when they move into monitoring that they should. The second you move into monitoring, super important, you drop some house mics, you drop some microphones over your congregation somehow, depending on what your ceiling is like, depending on what mics you have. It does not take super high dollar condenser mics. Honestly, the Audio-Technica Pro 37R is like $100, and it would be a totally fine mic. Maybe you can't do two. Maybe you can only do one. Okay, that's fine. But you have to take that house mic and you have to pipe it back down one of the channels, because what's going to happen is when they start wearing those ears, you lose feeling. The feeling that we was talking about that you get from the wedges, you lose that because you've got things in your ears. So you have to take some of the room and put that in their ears as well. And that's a very fine line. But adding house mics to the in-ear mixes is extremely crucial for the success of the ear mix, because the ear mix will not, people are already going to have a lot of adjustment into the way that they do things when they go to headphones or an in-ear mix. So in summary, I recommend that you do it. It will absolutely make your house mix better the more you can lower your stage volume, because you have no idea. If you want to know, just in the middle of rehearsal one day, let everybody know you're going to do it, and just mute the monitors and listen to how instantly your sound system sounds 1,000 times better. Well, you're never going to get into a no live monitor situation. There's always going to be some wedges, probably. But at the same time, the more you can lower stage volume, the cleaner your house mix will be. And I think we can all agree that a cleaner house mix is a better house mix. All right, hopefully today I've answered your questions regarding whether you should go in-ear with in-ear monitoring versus wedges, and some policies and procedures that you can follow. If you start to go down the path of going in-ear monitors, take it slow. That's the whole thing. Take it slow and have people that are willing to work with you. Let people know what's going on well in advance so they can be prepared. All right, thank you and have a great day.